Welcome back to the Tide Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. I've actually been discussing it. You've probably seen most of these points in other videos, but I'm putting them all in one. And it's why Playmates sucks. Well, for me. And I don't look at every single franchise that they make. I'm not into everything, but specifically with Playmates, a lot of the stuff they did in the 90s, I just really wasn't into. But a few of the things I was into, and lately some of the things they're doing in the modern era have gotten my attention. This is not at all going to be a bash session for Playmates, but I'm going to be telling you kind of my thoughts, my perspective, and how I felt since 1988 about Playmates when I really started paying attention to their products or avoiding their products. But we'll discuss this and more. And I will give them some praise. I am going to sing Playmates some praise here also. Coming up. I believe it was 1988. It might have been 89 when I personally started watching the show. I tried to fight off the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I really feel like this is Playmates' bread and butter when it comes to everything. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was so into G.I. Joe and Transformers, and I really didn't even want to watch the show, but it was really the best thing on. In all reality, at the time slot that it was on, it was absolutely the best show to watch every afternoon after school, and it got me hooked. It was a pretty good show. It was fun, engaging, entertaining, colorful, and relatable. It did everything for a kid in late 80s that would want you to buy the toy, right? It was a 30-minute sales ad for the toys, and I got hooked. Well, I got hooked until after the hunt and the thrill of the hunt and all the work I had to do to go through, jumping through hoops to get the figures and get them home and open them up and realize they sucked. They had little to no articulation. They were terrible toys for the time. They were so bad that I put them back in the package and I stopped collecting them. But relatives would buy me some, and I would see one on the shelf that I thought, oh, that's cool, and I watched the show, and I want the character, but I'm not going to open it. So I had probably about 20 of them, and I only opened about 6 of them. So I had a whole bunch of sealed ones, and my family saved them for me because I thought I liked them. I didn't like them. I thought they were terrible figures, but I ended up selling them all off as an adult to buy some NECA. The first thing that sucks about Playmates is, back in the day, they could have given these things more than 5 POA, 5 points of articulation. They could have given these figures a little bit more posability, but even without the posability, they could have made them stand up straight. They could have made them look good, not the weird, crouchy, strange poses. I know Star Wars did some poses, but they weren't this extreme, and they weren't crouchy. Like, the Shredder was a huge disappointment when I was a kid, and it was very sad that I felt like they just did a bad job on the toy lines. I never bought the vehicles. I might actually come out and say, here's a compliment. The vehicles were really cool. And I kind of wanted them, but I was like, I don't want the figures. I don't want to collect this toy line. I was fighting it with every ounce of my being to stop collecting the toy line because the figures were so bad. They just were terrible articulation. Compare them to G.I. Joe at the time, it was a serious regression, and I felt like I was almost collecting He-Man figures, but worse than what Mattel did with He-Man when it comes to the articulation and posability of the figures. The other thing was the constant presence at retail. So this is the next thing that sucks, but it's also kind of cool, but it sucks. I had all those figures, well, only like 20, saved from my childhood, most still sealed, and I'd go to KB and I'd be like, oh great, you can just buy them forever. Here they are right here, $6, and I guess they're not worth anything. And in my mind, I've always associated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, vintage Turtles, as utterly and completely worthless. Kind of like He-Man. 85% of the Motu stuff, vintage, is worthless. Kind of like this. Well, it's still kind of fun to collect and have, but to me, I just wanted to dump it and get rid of it and get something that I actually liked. Enter NECA and their TMNT. I sold my entire childhood collection, probably only like $300 or something, and I'm sure it's worth thousands now. So this was in 2018, 2019 or something like that, and I put that money towards NECA. I didn't feel bad about buying the NECA stuff, which was seriously more expensive. Literally, when NECA started making theirs, you could have bought the vintage figures cheaper or around the same price as NECA, and now some of the vintage stuff is shot up, especially sealed, like mine were, and to like $400 a figure. But I don't care so much. I actually like the NECA. I'm not getting rid of my NECA. I like the NECA stuff. And I still kind of like the turtles. I've been trying to not collect turtles myself, but NECA's done such a great job. And it's what we should have gotten, well, closer to what we should have gotten back in the day. The next thing that sucks about Playmates, and don't worry, I got more toy lines than just turtles, but they keep putting out the turtle van, which it sounds like a great thing. And from a marketing standpoint, I've got an MBA, but I'm an undergraduate in marketing, and I understand you want to put products to market that are going to sell, and this seems to always sell. But I did see a ton of them on clearance for $25 and maybe even cheaper back the last time, and they're putting it back out this year also. But I'm going to commend them. They came out with the blimp, but they did a sucky version of the blimp, so it's not really a good blimp, and that sucked, but something's coming that's actually really good. The Technodrome's coming out, but of course it's an Amazon exclusive, and it's already sold out. I don't know how much more is going to come in stock when these start arriving and shipping out. People say these are smaller than the standard ones. I do have a shell to compare it to. I've got a shell for dirt cheap, but I'm not spending $300 on this. Again, I don't care enough about vintage TMNT to spend $300 on this thing, but I do care enough to spend $80 from Amazon and do a comparison and that kind of fun stuff. This is actually a huge praise for Playmates that does suck with a lot of other things they do. So why don't they give us the Foot Cruiser? The Foot Cruiser is commanding a really high price on the secondary market, and if we got a modern, updated one, and we can get it with all that wonderful, beautiful chrome and all the silly little parts and actually decent looking stickers, and it would be a hit. And instead of spending, $150, $200, $300, depending on condition, there are a lot of things. The condition of the chrome, are all the parts there, how are the flags, how's the windshield holding on, all that kind of stuff is part of the price of this thing. I have one. It was a nightmare getting a complete one, and I have to admit today that if they reissued it, I would have much rather just bought a reissue one for like $35 at Walmart rather than spending well over $150 to get a complete one on the secondary market. Same thing with this mutant module. Now, I do understand the mutant module. I think this is really cool. It's very expensive on the secondary market, but there's not enough normies or casual collectors that would buy into this for the $35 or $40 price point to make it a production run. But then again, why isn't this an exclusive to somewhere that'll sell out really fast, just like the Technodrome? You see where I'm going with this? So enough talking about turtles. Let's talk about Street Fighter. Oh, darn. We gotta still talk about turtles. I was over the moon they're making Street Fighter figures. I hated the model, that you had to buy another one of these turtles, and this is what really showed how good NECA turtles were, because I got this and was able to compare it, and I was like, yep, I love NECA turtles. Don't like these. They're not bad. I would rate them like a 6, and I'd rate NECA like a 9.5. But I love the Street Fighter figures. In fact, I started finding people out there that wanted the turtles, but didn't want the other figure, and would sell me the other figure, whether it was the Stranger Things, or if it was the Street Fighter, and I think it was Cobra Kai. So I was starting to get those figures cheap. I started to wise up a little too late in the game, but I did wise up, and I was able to get those a lot cheaper down the road, and I love those figures. Some people don't. Down the road, we've got Jada Toys making Street Fighter. Jada Toys is making them, but here's the thing. Why did Jada Toys just remake the same figures that were already out there, that were just recently made? So we had like a year and a half lost because we're recollecting. If you're like me and started collecting when Playmates made theirs, and then now Jada's picking it up, and then you're just recollecting the same stuff over and over, really does kind of... It's like we lost a year and a half. The problem is, why did Playmates not go further with it? I would much rather buy just Street Fighter figures for $25 than try to hope I find somebody that's going to buy the set and sell me the Street Fighter figure down the road. So I like this model better, but at the end of the day, we wasted a full year and a half if you're a new Street Fighter collector. Enter into Voltron. Now, Voltron, I didn't want this thing, this Defenders version at all, but I started picking them up on clearance here and there, but I knew there was a box set coming, and I went ahead and got the box set. So I got myself the individual carded ones cheap. I'm like, Target was selling these things for like $6 or $11 a figure or something like that. and it was fun. It was fun grabbing me a set on clearance, and then the box set you had to pay full price. Like the box set sold fast. It was hard to get them, but I did land me a box set of it like this, just because I collect Voltron. Deep down, I always wanted this in the 80s, the 1984 version, and then boom, they came out with it. And it was just like a dream come true, but this suffered because if you want to move the arm, you got to move the whole shoulder, and it just breaks the illusion. It looks cheap when they do that. The other thing is the posability is not great, stability is not great. It has some really cool electronics, and they're awesome, but they only intermittently work, and they regularly fail. Or they intermittently fail. The problem with this, having it on, it's constantly acting like it's connecting and disconnecting all the time on a brand new set I just put together 5 minutes ago. So that does suck, Playmates. So they've recently reissued the 1984 one. Now this is a picture of the Defenders, not the 1984 that you might find in your Target right now if you go hunting. But anyway, this is a good visual. They've recently reissued that. A lot of people went out chasing it down because we know these box sets sell out fast. Not only that, Walmart canceled one of my box sets. I was ordering two. I wanted a box set so I could not have to peel the blisters off of these. Well, I had to peel the blisters off because Walmart canceled one of my box sets. I couldn't just open a box set. Makes a lot more sense. They'll go back in the box set and look good. But anyway, so now people are mad because they went running all over trying to get this, and then the box set comes out and it's really easy to get. Now, I understand that. I mean, a lot of people are like, Mike, that doesn't make sense to be mad about that, but it makes sense because we've been trained that this stuff's going to sell out really fast, especially the box sets on Voltrons sell out super duper fast. And Playmates, did they underproduce it? What's going on? Why are you making us chase down figures individually for all this time and then drop a box set on us? Why is it not easier? Well, right now it seems pretty easy on BBTS, but in hindsight in 2017, it was not. And now it's like, oh, we could have just waited years down the road. And of course, the dollar was worth a lot more in 2017. It's a financial aspect. There's a whole lot to it. But okay, they reissued it. Good job. Very nice. You went ahead and reissued this. Great. Let's give you an applause because you're helping out all 8 collectors that didn't pick it up back in the day. Great job. But where's the sucks in Playmates when it comes to Voltron? So they're not going to give us the last 2 pilots. So if you really think back on this, they had all these pilots, only 5 pilots planned. They made 3 of the 5 pilots, and they didn't make the other 2. Where's Pidge and Hunk? Which, they're 2 of the most popular pilots that are out there. You can't come off of 2 figures. You can't make these last 2 figures for us. That really sucks. So those of us that support it in 2017, screw you, and screw you because we're going to reissue it that you chased it like a rat in a maze. Now screw you, now it's going to be easy to get. No, also screw you, you still won't be able to finish the collection from 2017. Playmates sucks for this. How much would it cost to make 2 figures? This is absolutely terrible. Why not? Now I can understand. Run the rest of them too. I'm fine with that too. Give us Pigeon Hunk. Why? Why are you not doing this? The quick, lazy layup cash grab of just reprint the same thing you just made. That is a lazy maneuver, and it is their mantra, Playmates the lazy reprint company. They're also supposed to be giving us some mega lions. Now, they didn't combine, but they were big enough to hold the figures, and I don't know why this got canceled. Well, because they just stopped. Like, literally, they announced these mega lions. A few months later, it's just gone. All the products clearance, done with the license. License moved on to, I guess, the Soul of Chigokin. That was pre-Soul of Chigokin, but we need good combining Voltron that holds 3.75 inch figures. There's no great minds that can work on this and fix this and make it happen? Well, I'd rather have it, of course, the 84 style, not the Defender style, but there is a good Defender style coming from a third-party company. Now, I'm going to say that Playmates did an excellent job with these figures for Star Trek. I picked up almost the whole collection for $70, real cheap. That's kind of fun. I have to admit, like, I know that if I ever try to get rid of them, I might not be able to get $70 back out of them, but it's fun to have Star Trek figures on the shelf. But then they go up here and they put up some new ones that aren't, if they're better, they're not much better, but a lot of people say they're worse, and yeah, that's another fail. This new line of figures, I saw them and felt like it's just not better enough, gooder enough to spend $13 figure. And when I just bought the whole collection from somebody used, got on my shelf, and I was right. I've been picking them up for $5 each on clearance. And so this is like another epic fail. I think this is done. I think this is it. I think this is the whole collection, the whole modern collection of Playmates. And does that prove that they sucked? They couldn't pull this off again. They did a phenomenal job in the past, but it might just go back to why bother trying to bring it back again unless you're going to do something different and better with it. Now I hear they're going to venture into Power Rangers. Now I did buy a Lightning collection dirt cheap. Like I got one of each color Ranger really cheap. I look at the Super 7 stuff. In all reality, probably going to get some hate for this, but Super 7 is like the creme de la creme of anything Power Rangers. I do not like the franchise, but I think the team looks cool on a shelf. But I don't like the show, and I don't like the franchise, and I will not be collecting like everything for it. But to get a set of the team, if Playmates can do a good job with it, I would support it and get, a set of the team. Not like I'm going deep cuts, and I'm not going really deep into it, but it's enough to catch my attention. I have high hopes for it, but everybody tells me, and this is a giant fail in saying they suck, everybody in this space is disappointed that Playmates is picking it up. That speaks volumes, seeing as I don't pay any attention to Power Rangers, and I just watched a few videos. Everybody that I've watched says they're highly disappointed, and they really kind of like the direction Hasbro is going. Anyway, what do you guys think about Playmates? I'm sure some of you guys are going to throw out some toy lines I haven't talked about, that I don't think about, that I have no access to. Well, I have access to it, but I don't have interest in it enough to collect it. But I'm curious your experience with Playmates. Does Playmates really suck? Is Playmates a really good company? Is Playmates a good company because, or in spite of? I sung some praises. I think it's great to put this Technodrome back out. It's very mixed results that they have these figures out. But I will say one more thing. They're going to keep a constant presence at retail of Turtles, but they're not going to give us the ones that we really want. Now, as a marketer, I know exactly why, but I'll let you explain that in the comments below. But why no Scratch? Why no, what is this giraffe-looking dude? I don't even know who he is, but everybody says they want him. It's like a big deal to get some giraffe-looking figure. I'm not deep into it, so I don't really care. But I'd buy a giraffe figure if he showed up at retail. Or do I just really need to shut up and buy yet a 5th Turtle Van? Party wagon? Party on bro, cowabunga! Let me know in the comments below, like, subscribe to Deer Hanger out.